28.10 is finally here after 46 days, with the map only changing slightly. Content added we expected, such as Solid Snake and the Super Styles. Epic Games added the most amount of free rewards they're about to release in another mini pass, alongside more Family Guy skins upcoming in the shop. Stick around until the end for not only all of that, but even event developments that might be happening to end off this season. Stop, don't forget, before you pick up the Battle Pass or anything from the shop, you enter code FM1 inside here, as it looks completely different now, but it definitely still works, being one of the shortest and easiest codes to enter out there. It would mean the world to me and my dog Charlie the Charcoal Pug, and I'm going to have to purchase another big cutout now, considering, yeah, it looks different in the item shop. Last video I wanted to know the name of this, so here's a bunch of hearted comments on screen right now that got that right. Today, however, I want to know the name of this, so let me know down below in the comments, and if it gets hearted, it could be showed on screen in the next video, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, as after all, it only benefits you, with us gifting different subscribers every single day, with some proof of that recently on screen right now. Diving straight into it all before today, as you can see, this is what the map looked like with the snow fully consuming the map as much as it has or is going to on the Chapter 5 island, and then today in 28.10, it's been melted back. As you can see, Lavish Lair is free from snow, so I'm sure Oscar's kind of happy about that, considering he's got Peely hostage. On top of what nobody seemed to be talking about before today's update, but is now visibly noticeable, Rebel's Roost is this dark forest area or scenery data miners managed to find was coming to the Chapter 5 island. Although Solid Snake is now available, revealed for the first time in the Chapter 5 trailer, what nobody seemed to be talking about before he released was the cardboard boxes we could hide in and pop out of. For whatever reason, unless Epic Games have yet to change this, they are of mythic rarity. Do these honestly rarely class up to something that's worthy of being mythic? And if that wasn't enough to sneak around in, a new cloaking device was also added that we've seen in previous different forms before in the form of mythic or not. A nice stealthy touch to what Metal Gear Solid already is, being now collaborated into Fortnite. And speaking of collaborations, before we move on to a continued one that we hope to see and we now actually are, including some of the best free rewards for an event pass we've seen so far, of course we can't forget about the Anvil launcher. For whatever reason, I don't know why, it's been added back into Fortnite. Maybe it's to lock onto the train or make this process overall a lot easier of eliminating people on it as a moving target. From going back to lobby, there's still even so much more. Not only is the Petercopter available, with the weak egg quest now being added into the files in the 28.10 update and available in-game, so we can actually, use this and replicate what we saw in the trailer of him gliding down onto the island. What that didn't show, however, was the sound effect that comes along with it from deploying it, being Peter Griffin's iconic laugh from Family Guy. This collaboration is so incredibly popular, and it looks like Epic Games are continuing it, but before we move on to that, of course, we now have finally the Super Styles, which seems like we've been waiting forever for. What I predicted came true. Peter Griffin is not a part of these, as he's already gold in-game or wearing a gold suit, and the colour gold overall is usually incorporated into one of these final 3 pages. These are even labelled as super levels, from obviously doing an example off of Oscar right now. Here is super level off, and then we go to super level, being the first stage, Expressionist Oscar. I'm not gonna lie, this is my favourite out of the 3, considering it kind of reminds me of Dark Matter from Black Ops 3. Let me know if you played that game down below in the comments. The next second stage of bonus rewards on page 6 are the Prismatic Terrazzo styles. As you can see, this kind of complements Oscar being a tiger itself with the stripes. And last, and I would actually say least of my favourites out of these 3, is the Glasswork styles. Honestly, these are kind of mid. I don't think it's worth getting to level 200 to just get these. Maybe a bit too late for me now. I very much surpassed that already before the first major update of the season. From heading back into game, what was already in the loot pool, the Enforcer AR, believe it or not, got buffed today, with headshot damage multiplier now being 1.65 instead of 1.5. The common Enforcer AR's damage is the same, other rarities uncommon to mythic, damage buff from 33, 35, 37, 39, 40 to 30, 36, 38, 40 and 41, but most importantly, less recoil and faster recoil recovery time, which I think was honestly needed for this weapon. What was also needed today was the next stage for the TMNT collaboration. Of course, we not only got the TMNT turtle skins and one of the human forms, of course, with their Lego forms already being available, not to mention the drain system being revamped in-game, so we could go to the Underground's lairs, which stage 2 is either in-game already or upcoming for, revamped as you've seen from the early gameplay in the background that was leaked prior to 28.10 anyways. Thankfully, based off this list from Egyptian leakers stating things that would be upcoming, such as mythics and specifically an event pass, being 2 of the things I think the community wanted to see. Linked today from Sheena and other data miners, part 2 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collaboration will have a Shredder skin, an in-game location, an event tab, TMNT weapons and augments, and special quests. He also reminds us, as always, that any of this can be changed before its release, and one of those things being augments, as now Fortnite are reconsidering them, as they have been completely removed from the game's files despite being in the files prior to 28.10, all of these on screen right now. I replied to one of those posts, and you'll have to let me know if it was a W opinion or not. W move IMO, these were never needed. In all honesty, people like enjoyable simplicity, not all these different things we are chawed with getting used to. I don't know about you, but the augments just felt like something you honestly wanted to select to get the menu off your screen. Back to the post referring to the TMNT collaboration part 2, you will notice it's a completely different menu from the icon, meaning an event pass is upcoming. Not only this was found by data miners, but 3 stages of the Shredder tab as what it's being referred to right now, as you can see from the early gameplay or footage of that in the background, with obviously a made up number on the screen just as an example. Maybe this is here each time counting down to the next stage, with of course new quests may be available, and I'm assuming Shredder's in here. If not, then he's definitely an item shop skin. Of course, he looks completely insane. Speaking of the item shop and skins coming to it, you'll be happy to know that the Family Guy collab doesn't end with buff Peter Griffin that we finally seen after 2.5 years ago it initially being leaked in the files. As Hypex stated, more Fortnite x Family Guy skins arrive soon. I think we can all agree Glenn Quagmire needs to be one of these skins that comes and have a giggity emote added, maybe built in, surrounding him, or something we can buy. A skin that's sadly been removed from the item shop game files today, however, is Harmony Lee, which for those that don't know was meant to be upcoming, I believe, somehow free or obtainable, but Epic Games for whatever reason have decided to scrap that. It's no hard feelings, as we're getting another similar looking one for the February crew pack. People are speculating this is a remixed version of Brilliant Bomber, considering this never released, initially set to be a part of the annual pass way back in Chapter 2 Season 2 leak. Although this is rare early footage of what that would have looked like, it never came to the game obviously, and now supposedly Brilliant Bomber is Lana Lane, which again is the February crew pack, along with all of the different kind of legacy styles we'll get for being consecutively subscribed after the release or upon the release of this skin as the Fortnite crew, for the skin, the back bling, and then the pickaxes, of course incorporating the traditional Bright Bomber unicorn and rainbow. The Lego version of this has also already been made, and speaking of Lego in itself, we've got a ton more Fortnite x Lego styles in today's update that will be applied to skins either added in today's update or already existing. Taking a look at these, it was the first time I saw this bird looking skin, and we've actually got a ton more bird skins that will be in the item shop very soon. Again, make sure you're using code FM1 for when these roll around. These are completely sick though. The one specifically with the headband almost looking like it's about to do some martial arts was off the Fortnite surveys, initially speculated to be in a previous battle pass. I'm not sure which one, but of course it's kind of a silly skin like Peely, which actually released in Chapter 1 Season 8 as Tier 47, but now somehow 5 chapters later is a forefront of the storyline for being missing, with Jones's new snapshot form trying to find him and get him back from the society. Despite us also having some new bundles coming to the item shop which look incredibly cool, it's not been determined now if these are just going to be sold for V-Bucks or real life money, incorporating some sort of V-Buck quests or quests to actually complete. What is determined, however, is the extension of the Metal Gear Solid collab, with Raiden being added into the files with these 2 particular selectable styles. I'm not too familiar with Metal Gear personally, but it was anticipated we'd be getting a Rising style, or what's called of him being this version. Perhaps the biggest W we know about today is the fact that Fortnite OG Part 2 is being worked on as a separate mode. We don't know if it'll be a permanent or temporary mode again, but it received a separate playlist / mode tag in today's update, spotted by Egyptian Leaker and Spush FMBR. Would you guys like a permanent Fortnite OG that's updated, or would that take the magic away from it, considering we knew it was a very limited time for the 1-month season we saw of it? And what Fortnite Island would you like to come back, considering we've already seen Chapter 1? Or would you like different seasons of Chapter 1 to be updated throughout it? Or would a Chapter 2 throwback be something that's missed enough already to be considered OG? It seems likely, as Fortnite have updated TNTina's explosive bow and Jules' drum gun out of nowhere, 2 mythic bosses introduced as one of the first mythic bosses, I believe, TNTina in Chapter 2 Season 2, but of course Jules' drum gun in Chapter 2 Season 3. The bow's reload is buffed from 1.3 seconds to 1 second, and its charge time is now 1 second instead of 2 seconds, and the drum gun has received some new animations. Jules was very close to Midas in terms of helping him make the Doomsday device, so fingers crossed with all the props pointing toward the return of Chapter 2 Season 2 Battle Pass skins from their agent lairs we saw in the cutscenes. Midas could be returning, after all, being from Greek mythology himself, for a Greek mythology based season next in Chapter 5 Season 2. As of right now, we only know the codename for this season is Aiga, or Aiga, which means goat in Greek. And on top of that, despite it being speculated before 28.10 from Not Jules Dev that we'd be seeing maybe a live event, considering the dates didn't match up with the end of this season in the files, being March 9th instead of what's stated on the Battle Pass being March 8th. After all, Earthquakes got re-added in this update, which will either be a build-up to a live event happening to end off the season, or simply a build-up of Earthquakes getting more ferocious like we saw in Chapter 4 Season 2, for then something drastic to happen in terms of an event taking place itself, but within the next season cinematic trailer, like in Fortnite Wilds. In some different news, Fortnite have added a new minimum and maximum FOV option. Personally, I'm a console player, so I never really mess with this, hence you can tell from the gameplay I put in the background of videos. Thankfully, Fortnite LEGO, despite the gliders that make it very easy to maneuver around the map from heights that we already get to and jump off, there has now been launch pads added to the game. Not only do they look like this, but we also have some particular Icon series emotes added, as you can see from the gameplay in the background right now, performed by a LEGO character instead of a normal Battle Royale one. As you can see, as listed, these include Domino by Jessie J. It goes like nah nah nah, I'm not sure who that's from. And then 10 out of 10 for the third one. Of course, you're seeing the footage in the background, I'm just going to let it play, of all of these emotes and what they will be looking like once they rotate throughout the item shop. Don't forget to drop a like in today's video if you enjoyed or learned something new, subscribe with all notifications turned on, enter code FM1 now so you don't forget when everything new releases in the item shop discussed in today's video. In terms of where you go to now, click either of these two YouTubes recommended you on screen though. It's a good suggestion whilst you wait for the very next upload I do publish here on the channel.